God knows.
2024. Yeah, given that this video is coming out in
insert month here,
I'm obviously pretty late to the conversation, but it was a year with a lot to talk about. 2024 had some amazing music in it. Country, pop, rock, metal, hell, even hip-hop came back in full force this year and re-dominated the conversation. For the first time in a while, it was nice to see hip-hop come back. Music gave us so much to talk about in 2024. Unfortunately, I didn't hear a ton of that stuff either. In fact, I may as well pull the Band-Aid off nice and early with this one. This is going to be my last video. Like, ever. Period. Sorry if this is kind of sudden, but I've been doing a lot of schedule juggling and soul searching here lately, and the short version is I just don't have the time I need to devote to this anymore. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm sure you've noticed the large drought in content. It's for a lot of reasons, but one of those reasons is I just don't have the time to devote to it, or at least the time I would like to devote to it. I've also just gone through a lot of life changes here in the past few years, a lot of them very sudden and a lot of them very chaotic and hard to keep up with, and balancing a YouTuber schedule on top of a new career and health issues and other factors that just kind of wormed their way into my life at around October-ish of 2023. Yeah, I published that Genesis Owusu review, and then life just went fucking nuts. I adopted my little puppy man last year, and that's been a huge shakeup in my life too. I only mention it because this gives me the excuse to spam you with puppy pics. You're welcome. Not to mention that, you know, I'm not getting any younger myself. I'm not the same 27-year-old dickhead with a camera phone that I was 13 years ago when I started doing this. I'm also 40. Who the hell cares about my opinions on music anymore? I'm 40. I'm an old head. It's all just bitching. Rah, rah, rah. I'm kidding, but like, you know what I mean. As grateful as I am for the views and the success and the money that I've made doing this, as amazing as that all is, at the end of the day, this was always just a hobby I did in my spare time. This has never been my career, and I just do not have the same level of free time I had when I was 27. God, that's something that changes when you get older too. But I think for my better health, the better health of the channel, and I don't know, I think the best course of action for everybody at this time is to just put things to bed and tie a nice little bow on things. For the time being, at least. I don't know. I'm not against the idea of this being like a KISS retirement, but I need to just stop for a bit. For at least a bit, but again, we can get into all of those particulars later. We do have a video to make here, and I do want to give you guys one last hurrah. You'll probably see me in places here and there. I'm still going to be a part of Rock Coliseum, and I still have cameos and other stuff here and there. I don't know, I'll be around. You ain't getting rid of me that easy. But as far as this channel goes, as far as this specific thing we've been doing for the last 13 years, hey, it's been a fun run. And y'all have been a great audience. Sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, if you've ever watched or given or contributed to the channel at any point, thank you. I mean that. Thank you for everything. Now let's do this one more time. Honorable mentions.
Me, big G-L-O, in that G-L-E. 50,000 new Chanel, shopping spree, and every time I pop.
I hate saying it, but this is kind of what I was hoping that new Megan Thee Stallion album was gonna be. I'm sorry. It can't be denied how hard Glorilla goes on this thing. She absolutely slaughtered on this debut. I also have to admit, my decision here may be influenced by all the memes on this one. I mean, like, I'm on TikTok too. My brain has been poisoned by all this shit. But in a year where hip hop came the fuck back in so many big ways, this was another great one to have on the docket. I honestly wasn't all that impressed with her first few handful of singles. This debut really caught my attention. She's a damn fine rapper. She's got vicious flows, bars for days. She knows how to work with hooks, like just goddamn, very impressive. I don't have much else to say here except, ugh.
I swear to God, my whole thing been wicked. Tried to keep the peace, but all our peace around is bitches.
Speaking of hip-hop, another banger record from Schoolboy Q here. Though I have to admit, Q was always someone I followed kinda loosely. I never paid that close attention to his work. Was very casual with his stuff up until this year. But hey, this was a good year for anyone connected to Kendrick. Well, almost anyone. After hearing the hype behind this one early on in the year, I decided to give it a shot, and yeah, y'all weren't lying. It's great. Q's rhythm and lyricism has really grown a lot since Crash Talk. Maybe retirement will give me more of an opportunity to dig back on his catalog and, you know, kind of see what I've been missing out on with this guy. But yeah, I was really impressed. This was one of the first big ooh yeah albums that really sparked my attention. As soon as I heard this, I knew I was gonna have to make place for it somewhere on my year ends. This was a pretty heavy hitter from early on in 2024, and yeah, I'm glad I got the chance to listen to it. Great stuff. Okay, I have to admit, I was a little taken aback hearing everyone in the metal community, and even beyond the metal community, singing this album's praises, because, like, I've reviewed them before, and I was like, wait, Blood Incantation made the album of the year? Blood Incantation? That weird, like, alien metal band? Really? I mean, they were fine on the last album I heard from them. I just didn't expect, like, people to be losing their shit over them. So when I finally decided to listen to this thing, I heard it and I was like, oh, I get it now. It's just Rush. Specifically, it's that Rush era between, like, Farewell to Kings and Hemispheres, where they just go absolutely bug nutty with the experimentation. It's just an absolutely mind-melting trip across different soundscapes, heady atmospheres, and complicated time signatures. It's full of long, crazy musical experimentation, but at the same time, like those Rush records I referenced, they remembered that, oh yeah, people are also gonna listen to this too for, like, enjoyment and fun. So I don't know, let's not wank all the time. Let's put a little bit of fun and games in there. So on top of all the mind-melty shit, there's also plenty of hooks, lots of nice crowd-pleasing moments, and a fun, very loose story that just goes bug shitty bonkers, but never feels like too alienating. Lol. I also got to admit, y'all, like, the older I get, the harder I am to impress when it comes to a lot of metal. Like, I'm 40 and I've been listening to this genre since I was 5. Look, whatever you're doing, I probably fucking heard it. But this was another pleasant surprise for the year. A shocking amount of growth and talent on display with these guys, and you know what? Good for them. I'll be paying closer attention to these guys in the future. Again, it's nice when you see a band go from, well, okay, they're okay, I guess. I guess I liked it, to, ooh! Ooh! Oh! Ooh! Ooh! another wonderful record from 2024, but it's one of those albums where I'm not 100% sure who else I could recommend this to. I've been following Madeline Johnston's music since I caught her during the Perpetual Flame Festival a couple of years back, and her breathy, dreamy, foreboding brand of ambient slowcore absolutely scratches me. Just right in a place that I didn't even know was itchy. She records and often performs vocals through an old telephone receiver, and it just creates this haunting and pleasantly staticky form of atmospherics to the vocals, and she leaned hard into the dreamier and doomier aesthetics of her sound. It's gorgeous, but also very frightening, blissful, but anxious, both pleasant and unpleasant in ways that are equally lucid, but equally satisfying at the same time. I don't know, it's weird. Whatever mental illness I have that makes this kind of music hit, I don't know, it hits, and the medication does not work. Maybe this is more of just like a me pick, but I knew plenty of people that also enjoyed this, and if you didn't get the chance, give it a shot. And check out her back catalog too, because this gal has a lot of great stuff. Absolutely can't recommend her enough. If it isn't your vibe, I kinda get it.
And I failed statistics, but I A6 said life would have roadblocks.
Okay, you know what probably the exact opposite of midwife is? This right here. I told y'all about Joey Valance and Bray 2 years ago on Underground Sound. Y'all, was I even kidding? Was I even kidding? This stuff slaps. I'm happy to see these guys getting more of the attention that they deserve. I was pretty impressed with their full length. I knew they had it in them. This was a fun as hell listen. I admit it also kinda reminded me that I never want to sit through any more than like 30 minutes of this. But again, in a year that was so crazy good for hip hop, it was nice that there was also room for like the fun, novelty, goofball side of hip hop as well. Hip hop is a very diverse, engaging, and multifaceted genre capable of a lot of different sounds. And one of those sounds is just like, you know, the soundtrack to a PS2 game. Give JV&B some love. I have a feeling we'll be seeing very good things from them in the future. Again, if y'all were listening, I told you to look out for these guys. And there we go. Honorable mentions done and done. You know, hell with it. For shits and giggles, how about we do something else a little special? How about I give you just a bit of a lightning round of other records I liked, but maybe, I don't know, maybe I just don't have much to say about them, or maybe they just slipped under the honorable mention sort of thing. I don't know, let's just bounce off a bunch of shit that I liked, and I don't know, we'll throw this on there too, just for shits and giggles. It's my last video, I can do what I want, damn it. It was good. FJM was getting to be so goddamn exhausting. It's nice to see him work outside the box a bit and lighten up a little, just a little, you know? This was fun. Just don't ask me to pronounce it. I'm not even gonna try.
I'm ballin' like Mike when you see him on a poster, like yeah.
It was good, though I didn't enjoy this one quite as much as Melt My Eyes. But yeah, Denzel Curry is still one of the more interesting wordsmiths in hip-hop right now. And again, another great fucking hip-hop album from a great year for hip-hop. Fucking banger, what else can I say?
These hoes don't be mad at Megan. These hoes mad at Megan's law. I don't really know what the problem is.
It was good. I know I kind of opened the video by talking shit about it, but I still liked it. It was good. Megan still got it. Get off my ass. It was good. I'm still just as shocked as you guys are that Judas Priest is as good as they are for their age. I mean, I shouldn't gripe about being 40. These guys are in their friggin' 80s and they're still kicking this much ass. I got no right to bitch. This ruled. It was good, but like with Midwife, I'm not sure who else I could recommend this to. A really grisly listen, but if you've got the stomach for some heavy as shit dynamics and some very brutal subject matter, 100% worth your time. Again, whatever mental illness I have that makes this hit, I don't recommend Adderall. It was good, but I gotta admit I saw something on TikTok, of course, that kind of permanently ruined this band for me. And because I'm a bastard, I'm also going to show it to you too. Skip to this time mark if you don't want this band ruined for you for the rest of your life. Are you ready? Suffocate! You will never unhear it.
Let's go to Hawaii.
It was good. I like the fun, more sunshiny side of Karen's music. I'd be lying if I didn't say I enjoyed her last album way more. I don't know. I liked this, but that last record was just so goddamn horny. I like the horny stuff, man. I'm only fucking human. They should have been more horny. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know where this voice came from either, but it's fun saying horny. 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 I got away with doing this for 13 years. Follow your dreams, kids. Okay, now we're done with the honorable mentions. I promise, we're good. Let's go ahead and do this one more time, people. Top 10 albums of 2024. Here we go. Number 10. Oh man, this was a great ass record. I loved the hell out of this thing. A great little throwback to 90s indie and alternative, but not necessarily grunge. This was more a throwback to like the softer alternative of the day, the college radio and the indie rock that wasn't quite as harsh or heroin soaked. Like this reminds me a lot of acts like Belly, That Dog, Juliana Hatfield, or like anything Kim Deal had her hands on after she left the Pixies. Dare I say it? Some of the better moments on this thing give me just the tiniest hint of Slater-Kinney during the mid to late 90s. You know, that era where they were kind of at their peak. Not that I was on the lookout for anything like that or anything. Oh, I'm sorry, but that one still breaks my heart. But this thing is nothing but hooks, choruses, gorgeous arrangements, and masterful production. Seriously, this record is so crisp and golden sounding, powerful in all the right places, but subdued and glistening in its slower moments. And apparently they just produced this themselves independently. Co-vocalist Kevin Crowder apparently did the lion's share of the production work, if my research is right at least. Dude, bravo! You did a great job. This album sounds crystal. It's my favorite kind of throwback, a throwback to a time we didn't get enough time with while it was a thing. I mean, hell, a lot of the stuff that influences this sound, a lot of those bands died out before I was even in friggin' middle school, but I adored this thing, just cover to cover. Probably not the deepest or even the most groundbreaking record to come out in the year, but it's shockingly good at what it's trying to do. And if absolutely nothing else, I just gotta show love for my hometown homies. What's up? What's up, Naptown what? Number 9.
The image of a little yellow face to tell you that I'm sad about the emptiness that's all around me.
Another band I'm kind of criminally late to the party to, but yeah, I'm glad I got to catch this year. Everything is just out here really pushing the limits on what you can get away with in synth pop. Another album that's gorgeously bright and colorful and crisp. The soundscapes they bring out on this record feel amazingly huge, while still being chock full of memorable moments and interesting lyrics. The whole concept behind this album is this weird alternate history where people are consumed with building a giant mountain for the elites to live in, while they themselves live in poverty and horror in the hole that they create trying to make the mega mountain for the ultra wealthy. No parallels in modern society or anything, but hell, even outside the message, the music is just another set of brilliant jams, back to front, danceable when it has to be, tender when it really wants to be, but never once does it trudge or plod or get saggy or droopy. It just keeps your attention from moment to moment. And for a synth pop record that's close to pushing an hour, I'm just saying that's a really hard trick to pull off, but they do it masterfully. Another early bright spot in the year, and one you absolutely need to give a shot if you haven't. Honestly, given all the Imagine Dragons and shit like that I've had to review for close to a decade, I thought all of that shit numbed my ability to feel good about synth pop of this style, but like, man, this record really woke me up and let me realize that, hey, the good stuff is still out there. I don't know, no matter how jaded you get, this is just a damn good record. Number 8.
I keep them nicknames on him, cause I keyboard my fist. Ain't give a fuck about pronouns, I'm that nigga and that bitch is getting sick.
I know, I'm shocked this isn't higher too, but you know it's a good year when the best spot I have for a Tyler, the Creator album is 8th. Not to say that this isn't a fantastic record. Honestly, in terms of just like raw fun and happiness, this was maybe one of my favorites from the guy. As powerful and from the heart a lot of his recent work has been, it's also good to just hear Tyler get like really goofy and doofy too. Like, I kind of miss that side of Tyler, you know? And this record, at least on the surface, seems like it was a blast to make. Stuff like Ra-Ta-Ta and Sticky are just fantastic listens, and another big appearance from Glorilla on this list. Seriously, she had a hell of a year. This record on the whole was very fun, but it's also still got those heavier, more earth-shaking moments that Tyler is also great at. Hey Jane and that wonderful closer, I Hope You Find Your Way Home. That last, like, minute or so where Tyler doesn't do a goddamn thing and just lets the synth player lose his fucking mind. Fucking magical shit, man. I feel like this may be one of the better balanced records he's put out in his later period so far. Again, Tyler's got some very good stuff from this era, but I sometimes find it a little tricky to go back to Flower Boy and Igor just because of how woof they can be in places, you know what I mean? This feels like Tyler finally perfecting his post-Cherry Bomb sound and finding the balance between his heartfelt side and his sillier, braggadocious fun side. I mean, hell, on this record, he flat out says he's the best rapper from LA outside of Kendrick in the year of our Lord, Not Like Us, no less. But hell, he brings the muscle to back it up. He earned the right to say that by releasing a record this damn good, and yeah, the music backs it up. Number 7. Oh my God. I feel so bad for anyone who went through a breakup in 2024, especially when this album dropped. Oh my God, that must have been brutal. My sincerest condolences. It's been a year and a half. Hopefully you're over his dumbass girl. Billy has always been a juggernaut when it comes to writing these big, sweeping, heart-destroying odes to melancholia. She's so good at what she does. But one criticism I feel like I've always heard about Billy's music is that she's, you know, all heart and no head. Like, it's big and gigantic and just tear-jerking, but it isn't very thoughtful or particularly intelligent. She's melodramatic, is one criticism I've always heard about her since the beginning. For one, though, Billie isn't even in her mid-20s yet, okay? A lot of those albums you were talking shit about, she wrote as a literal teenager. I'd love to see what you were writing at her age, but I gotta admit, I did kind of see those criticisms on her last album. I don't know, the lyrics were kind of what kept that out of the top ranks of that particular year for me. But on this record, oh boy. Oh man, this isn't melodrama, this was the exact right amount of trauma. Her growth as a songwriter has been very wonderful to observe. To me, this album feels like her The Stranger or her War. The moment you realized, oh hey, this isn't just like a phase people are going through. This record honestly feels like the one where Billie planted her flag in the ground and declared that she is going to be a part of the pop world for the foreseeable future. I could be 100% wrong about that. She could fall off the face of the earth tomorrow, but even in the unlikely event she does, I feel like this album cements her impact on the greater pop cultural world. This thing just... I wasn't even going through a relationship this year, but I still felt like every word of this like a dagger, dude. Just, oh, I don't know. The stuff that ended up beating Billie had to throw some really major punches to do so. A lot of the albums past this point, yeah, they get pretty wild. Number 6. I mean, for example, it took The Cure coming back from the goddamn dead to beat Billie Eilish. The Cure haven't released anything for 16 years, people. And even so, if you remember those last handful of records they had... You know, if I'm being honest, I feel like those albums are a little overhated, real talk. But make no mistake, they aren't good. I wasn't sure The Cure was able of making a good album again after that, especially after over a decade and a half in retirement. But lo and behold, Songs of a Lost World came out, and it was one of the best albums they've released since the 80s. Honestly, throws back hard to their 80s era work, but more so that darker edged material like Pornography or Disintegration. It's certainly the most pure goth album they've done in a very, very long time. Honestly, I feel like that's just a big part of the reason this album hits so well. We all genuinely must have missed this side of The Cure's catalog. I know I sure did. I mean, don't get it wrong, I love the more poppy, more lovey-dovey side to this band. I do. Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me is one of my favorite Cure albums, but like, again... I get why people were kind of done with that side of them. This album is crazy creative, haunting, foreboding, and all-enveloping soundscapes dragged all the way across it with just the exact right amount of color and light in the exact right places to still make it feel fun and exciting and just make it feel like an honest-to-God Cure record. I love that Robert Smith often just kind of takes a back seat with his vocals and just lets the guitar, the synth, the drum arrangements just sort of play around. Like, I don't know, there's tracks on this album that'll go on for like 3 or 4 minutes at a time. You'll think they're instrumental tracks and you'll still be like, wow, this is pretty and gorgeous and beautiful. Though I guess it's just an instrument. Oh, there he is. Smith really lets the music speak for itself on this one. And it just does such a wonderful job at creating feeling and mood and intensity. I mean, that's what I love so much about The Cure's most classic records. As much as I love the poppier side of this band, their last albums prior to this really did show us that that side of the band was completely spent. Please don't make me show any more clips from that. In revisiting this side of their sound and showing us how amazing they are at constructing melodies and just building these dark, ominous, soul-crushing moods. This is such a moody album. I forgot The Cure could even get this moody, man. It's just a deliciously moody record. I didn't even realize how much I missed this side of The Cure until I actually got some new entries in it, and see, this is the album to end their career off of. I don't know, in my book, End Song alone was worth the price of admission for this. Number 5.
On anyone, I put the blame on everybody around.
Crash, are you for fucking real? Are you honest to God gonna put this above Tyler, the Creator, Billie Eilish, and The fucking Cure? Yes, I am. It's my list, goddammit, and way too many of you have been sleeping on Cliff Diver. I got turned on to these guys a couple of years back on Exorcise Your Demons. That was a fantastic debut record, and they've done even more exciting things on this record. There's way more of an alternative, modern hardcore sort of style thrown in for this one, on top of the pop and the ska hints in their arrangements. Joey Duffy and Brianna Wright are trading some beastly stuff on the vocals, especially Brianna. My God, this woman can absolutely wail. I love every minute she's in front of that goddamn mic. And the lyrics, while being goofy and fun-loving for the most part, I mean, look, you don't write songs like 30, Flirty, and Thriving and Black Lodge Breakfast Burrito if you aren't taking at least a little bit of piss. But they also took a much darker, more melancholic edge on this one too. I mean, they had those moments on the last record too, but the band also went through a real nightmare of a time between these two albums. They were involved in a pretty gruesome van accident. Their drummer almost died as a result of it. 2023 was not kind to these guys at all, but in releasing this record, they showed that they were true punk rock survivors, and they still absolutely shred. These guys have so much more variety and bravado in their song crafting than a lot of other bands in their genre are expressing right now. This is an extremely multifaceted group. They got horns, they got synths, they got riffs, they got beats, they got Brianna and Joey screaming their guts out at each other. Like, this is one of the most interesting bands in pop punk right now, and it chaps my ass a little that I don't hear more folks talking about them. Oklahoma should be very proud. They've got a hell of an act on their roster. And spoiler alert, this is not the only time we're gonna see Oklahoma on this list. Hint, hint. Number 4. Okay, even though it's conceited as hell to ask this, is the reason this cover the way it is because of what I did to her last album cover? Listen, Charlie, Ms. Charles, I'm sorry for my crimes against good taste, but I just thought it would be really, really, really funny. Y'all, what can I say? Brat Summer was a really good time. Like, I can't even front. For a while, this was basically gonna be my album of the year. I mean, on one side, I gotta admit it's a little sad because it's Charlie basically shedding the last little bits of her hyperpop skin and succumbing to the pop starlet mega machine corporate thing entirely. But on the other hand, she is really, 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 really good at it. I mean, I said as much when her last album made it into the top 3, but on this record, she basically cranked that knob up to 11 and broke it off. Charlie became a national sensation. I mean, not that she wasn't before, but she was impossible to ignore on this record. I don't know, it's weird. Like, a lot of Charlie's past albums, even a lot of her most intense stuff, even those records had like a flow to them, or at the very least like a rhythm or a pace. It's not like this record is completely devoid of like vulnerable moments or shift in the sound, but I think this record got to be such a big phenomenon last summer, just if nothing else because of how intense and crushing and absolutely brutalist she is in her pop approach. This wasn't just a pop record, it was a pop record that took the shape of a boot stamping on your face. This thing became a pop phenomenon through just like sheer force of will. Like, the sound on this thing just overtakes your entire body and it never lets up for a minute. And by the time you reach 365, you're on the floor covered in blood, cocaine, and bright lime green paint. And that's just the original album. Don't even get me started on like the alternate releases and the remixed version and that version of Guess where Billie Eilish takes a minute to get gay for all the homies. I don't know, man. What can I say? Brat captured a moment. It might not have burned for very long, but my God, you can't say it faded away. An amazing pop record. Number 3. I told y'all we'd be making another visit to Oklahoma. Man, that state is fucked up. But hey, what can I say? Chat Pile upped their game big time on Cool World. The sound is even more intense and the ferocity never lets up. And like, I mean, capitalism ain't getting any less crushing and miserable, so yeah, this hit from a personal place. Chat Pile took an approach on this follow-up that I'd say is a bit, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, but it's more like, if it ain't broke, let's try to break it. Let's actually go in there with like knives and shit and just see if we can, let's just try breaking it, or at the very least, see what happens when we poke it. I mean, the music is just so relentlessly heavy. It's almost Neolithic how raw and primal they are. If all you want to do is slam dance and break shit, it scratches that itch like nothing else can. But at the same time, if you do actually sit down with the lyrics, there's some damn interesting commentary there. Stuff that's way more brutal than the sound itself. The dissolution of interpersonal relationships and community in the post-COVID world, the cost in blood and labor for us to live like we do in the States, the traps laid out by the ruling class to make us fight amongst each other so that they can continue to exploit us and pick apart the remains. I mean, for as caveman as the music generally goes, I ain't used to cavemen being this sociologically well-versed is all I'm saying. It's a weird vibe. Is it a fun listen? Well, define fun. Like, I'm so glad there are bands out there like Chat Pile brave and crazy enough to speak frankly about what it's like out there, even if that frankness is a lot to take in. But I mean, yeah, as I'm writing this script, the USA is basically in full financial, sociological, and even constitutional collapse. Look, I don't like that this is the vibe out there right now any more than you do, okay? But I'm glad someone is out here making it plain. I would love for the stuff that they're talking about to be considered out of date someday. But that day ain't even close to here yet, and it looks like it's gonna get so much worse before it starts getting better. So, like, look, I want people to be screaming about shit like this. Number 2.
Woke up looking for the broccoli. Hot key, keep a horn on me. That could my seat. IP ownership, the blueprint is by me.
Do I have to say anything here? Well, I guess I should at least try. But unless you lived under an entire quarry's worth of rocks last year, you were extremely aware of what Kendrick Lamar was up to in 2024. And what that was destroying Aubrey Hodges. You know, I can't even really talk that much about the Drake-Kendrick beef since the biggest hits of the summer didn't even really show up on this thing. Even regardless of all that, honestly, this is still one of the better records Kendrick has ever dropped. Even if it ain't necessarily one of his deepest. Don't get me wrong, I love Kendrick when he's delivering a message or bearing the grittiest and realest parts of his soul. And make no mistake, there is still plenty of that on this record too, but I don't know, I also like it when K-Dot has hooks. He's dropping like flame-ass bars and shit. I like it when he's having fun. Kendrick had fun on this. I like a Kendrick album that makes me go, oh! I mean, don't get me wrong, I also enjoyed Mr. Morale, but man, that record could be a rough listen in places. Again, intentionally so. That's what Kendrick was trying to do. But like, that record was a lot to process. This one, it ain't quite as much of a thinker. It's got a sense of joviality that Kendrick's been having trouble recapturing on some of his later work. Even if some of that joy is brought out of just like sheer schadenfreude and haterdom, but like, I'm sorry, 2024 was the year of the hater. I think GNX and Kendrick's entire anti-hero arc that year felt so satisfying because Kendrick just became this avatar for catharsis. A catharsis we are all aching to feel right now through one way or another. I mean, however you feel about how Kendrick handled the beef, he didn't apologize or sugarcoat a goddamn thing. And that also goes for everything he brought on this album too. I just think that attitude connected with a lot of people in 2024. Honestly, one of the reasons this album ended up where it did, and one of the reasons this video is as late as it is because I wanted to see that Super Bowl performance before I made my final call. I just wanted to see how far Kendrick was gonna push it. And the moment I saw, yeah, I made my call. If my #1 album wasn't such a lock this year, this would have been the one. I don't know, it's weird to call it hope, but it was a weird bit of like morbid hope, you know? No matter how much these skeezy, disgusting, shithead motherfuckers who seem to rule the world throw their goddamn weight around, they too can be killed. All it takes is someone smart enough to make the plan and brave enough to take the shots. And Kendrick took that motherfucking shot. This album is basically just the victory lap. This album is basically the ending scene of Return of the Jedi where Darth Vader's burning on the funeral pile and all the Ewoks are dancing their asses off. It's weird to compare this album to fucking Yub Nub. I also don't want to necessarily call this the end of Drake's career. I mean, people are fickle and we all know that somehow Palpatine can return, but man, Kendrick unleashed the dark, ugly beast inside his soul and used it to destroy his enemies. I'm not saying everyone needs to go out and have that big epic crash out, but it was a reminder that, you know, anger, being angry, anger, that gets shit done. So, here we are. The last album I'm likely to give Best Album of the Year to. I guess it doesn't matter in like the grand scheme of things or whatever, but I don't know. It still feels like one I really should take seriously. I promise you I am. But, I apologize if this pick does feel a little trolly. I'm just warning you ahead of time. My album of the year pick is unconventional, even for a video like this. It's a weird one because I always try to pick my albums on a very predictable cycle. You know, my eligible period was always January 1st to December 31st of that specific year. The problem is, for album of the year, I always pick the album that affected me the most, or spoke to me the most, or if absolutely nothing else, the album that I just spun the most in that particular year. And the album for 2024 didn't come out in that neat little January to December time period. Maybe people will be pissy about it, or will throw a little fit, or whatever. But I'm sorry, y'all. I gotta be honest with you. I didn't listen to nearly as much music as I would have hoped to, but the stuff I did listen to did hit big time. And this album hit me in such a huge way. I don't know, if I gotta be honest with you, if there was one album that made me feel good, one album that made me feel hope, hell, if I've just gotta pick the album I listened to the most in 2024, I have no choice but to go with...
To where I belong, down at the Pink Pony Club. I'm gonna keep on dancing at the Pink Pony Club.
But be real, I am not the only one who was late to the party on this one, yeah? Midwest Princess did get a few nods in 2023, sure, but unless you were like really paying attention to underground pop and... Yeah, when did this album come out? September of 2023? I was not paying attention to underground pop. I was barely paying attention to my own life at that time. Holy shit. You probably are late to the party on this one too, okay? It wasn't until this year when this record became an international sensation, so... Yeah, I'm late to the party. I'll cop to it, but... You know, if anything, that kind of edged my decision a little more. You know why? Because it was so nice seeing an album grow and blossom into this big, beautiful, gigantic thing, seemingly naturally, and just from people being excited to discover a new thing. It felt weirdly organic. So much of pop music, hell, music in general, regardless of genre, has become so disposable. Not that the streaming era hasn't had its good side, but man, I am just so tired of having to listen and be on top of a dozen or so new releases every single week, over and over and over and over and over again. This week, new bunch of stuff, new stuff. Gotta keep on top of everything, You have access to everything, so be on top of everything, be on top of everything. If something's good, if something's bad, if something's great or terrible, whatever it does to you that week, push it aside. You got a whole new stuff to do. Analyze it now. Look at this. Again, I'm not saying that's entirely a bad thing. We have access to so much more music than we used to back in the old man times, but I don't know, especially as someone who had to follow this kind of stuff professionally, I don't know, the endless cycle of new really wore me out after a while. The way all of us are expected to take in music has become so quick and dirty, and as a result of that, everything that comes out has to have that meteoric, gigantic impact, or people just don't realize it's even out there. Everything has to leave a crater. Everything has to have a hype cycle, and $1 billion marketing campaign, and a bunch of drama and hot takes, and an ecosystem of folks talking about what's going to happen next, and noise. And as soon as all that noise is over, you move on to the next thing that's making noise, and the next thing that's making noise. And yes, that's always been a thing in the music industry. It'll probably always be there in some fashion. I get it. But I don't know, for a change, it was so refreshing to see something just grow organically, to see something slowly and steadily become a phenomenon, to watch people slowly kind of come onto it, and to see it grow from something small to something a little bigger and a little bigger and a little bigger. Before you even knew it, this was the phenomenon of the entire year. It took its sweet time getting there, but I'm kind of glad it did, because man, we really got to savor this record, didn't we? And again, I'm still amazed at how Chapel and her team did it. The people in the know got to catch an early glimpse of it, but instead of everyone moving on to the next thing and forgetting about it, like what happens to so many other great and brilliant albums and artists out there, this one got a chance. This one got a chance to keep growing. slowly but surely, people got into it. It planted its little seed, but instead of drowning under the tidal wave of hype and other shit, it got to blossom. This tiny, small, little independent thing that should have been washed away like a million other seeds before it, not only took root, but became an entire garden that was impossible to ignore. You couldn't look away from this record, and man, the music is certainly there to pay attention to. I'm so glad that it got to have its day. And I think at the end of the day, that's mostly just because people wanted to hear it. They identified with what Chapel was saying and doing, and they loved her message on this thing. And you know what? That was what gave me a lot of hope in 2024. Because not only did people want to hear Chapel Roan, not only did people want to hear her message, but her message was insanely gay. That message was a queer message, an absolutely queer as hell message. That message was, we are here, we are queer, and we're not going any goddamn where. It's a loud, proud, openly flamboyant, and outwardly defiant message of queer identity. Yes, we are in this space. Yes, we deserve to be. And yes, goddammit, we always will be. Not only should this album not have beaten the odds because it didn't follow the right formulas for success, but it beat the odds by being a loud, gay, and defiant cry in a world that's getting more and more homophobic every single day. It keeps getting uglier out there for folks like us. It feels like every day there's another court ruling, another bathroom bill, another piece of legislation disguised as family values that solely exists to erase and eradicate LGBTQ+ people from the world. But this album, being as successful as it is, that says to me that ultimately, at their core, people don't give a shit about that. People bought the album in droves, drove those singles back up on the charts, and rocketed Chapel all the way to the Grammys. People wanted to hear it. That says a lot to me. Is the album perfect? No. What record is? Is Chapel Roan destined to be the next big sensation? Maybe. I don't know. I guess that's up to her and what she does next. But the album's revitalization is important to recognize here. It's my album of 2024 because, god damn it, it became the sensation it was in 2024. It became important in 2024. And despite everything hateful people have to say about us in this world, we deserve to be heard. And not only that, people want to hear from us. They want to hear our messages and our stories. The album is queer, yes, but it's also messy and human and bitchy and weepy and flawed. Its flaws help make it beautiful. It's not always a pretty representation of the queer identity, but LGBTQ people are, at the end of the day, people. And people are flawed like that. Queer people, just like every kind of people, are imperfect and broken and uncertain. And this album isn't perfect. Chapel herself is not a golden idol for how queer people should represent themselves. She's all but flat out tried to tell you that she isn't and has no interest in being that. I don't know why y'all keep giving her shit for saying it. It's true. I'll even admit, it isn't so much the queerness of the album as much as it is the humanity of it that makes it hit so dramatically for me. But it is still queer. Very queer. Unignorably queer to its core. And people still wanted to hear that message. People still have place in their hearts for queer messages like this. That's how this record gave me hope. While so many folks out there are working to divide us, I feel like so many people taking this mid-20-year-old gay girl's cries for love, sex, and acceptance says that we ain't as fucking different as they want us to believe we are. Queer people are people, god damn it. All of us. We're your uncles, your aunts, your cousins, your brothers, your sisters, your mothers, your fathers, your grandparents. We're human goddamn beings, and we ain't looking for anything different than you are. At the end of the day, we want to live, love, and get through this life to the end with a few good giggles and some damn fond memories. We're here. We're always gonna be here, no matter what you do to try to erase us. We aren't going anywhere. And if you are queer in this particular moment in history, that's really the most important thing you can do right now. Go out there and live your life. Be your queer self and be it at full fucking volume. If you're gay, be gay. If you're bi, be bi. If you're transgender, then live as yourself. God damn it. Be loud, be unapologetic, and be brave. But most importantly, be happy. I'm not saying, oh, force a smile so that the rest of us can feel good about you. Lord knows we've all got a lot to be concerned about, but don't you dare let these bastards grind you down. Live your life. And don't let any fucking law or any fucking court order or whatever may happen out there keep you from finding the joy, happiness, love, and freedom of life. You live, you love, you find your people, and you build your community. And guess what? That ain't gonna be perfect either. It'll be messy and turbulent, and you'll make mistakes, and you'll break hearts, and you'll fuck things up. No matter what precautions you take, you're not going to do everything perfectly. Honey, no one does. It's okay. You pick that little ball of life back up and you keep running with it. Because if you give in, if you give them your life, if you let them take it from you, believe me, they will never give it back. They will take everything from you if you're willing to give it up. So don't. Never give it up. Never give up your life to people who would rather see you dead. If you're lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, queer, or anything else on that big, beautiful rainbow, you are fucking worthy. Worthy to live how you want to live and love how you want to love, no matter who the hell tells you otherwise. No matter what they try to hang up on you, you deserve love, you deserve life, and you deserve to be as free and as proud as anyone else. If you don't take anything else from my 13 years on this platform, absolutely nothing at all, please, just take that. If you aren't going to listen to anything I have to say, please just listen to this one little bit. I'm begging you. Those of us in the queer community, we're a light. We truly are. We are a light, and we are shining hope throughout these dark times. And we owe it to ourselves to shine brighter than ever before. For each other, and for the rest of the world out there too. We are a light. You are a light. And if I've ever been a light to any of you throughout my time here, then I'm glad. and I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to do so. Because so many of you were a light to me too. I'm Crash Thompson. Thanks, y'all. I'll see you around. Special thanks goes out to Alexander Pollitt, Christian Toder, David Perez, Dylan Rare Hunter, Nick Barros Johnson, The Pighead, Yoshi Taichi, Artemi Musha, Alex Sobolou, Genedy is here, Hannah Moran, James Watts, John Powell, Lainey Wilson, Lilith Estelle, Mars Hunter, Matthew Becker, Michael K., Michaela Thorne, Ness217, Pretty Violet, Riot Vision, Rocked, Rowan Cookie, Sean Lanigan, The Happy Spaceman, Vesper, Warped Kia, Akshay W., and Mark Grondin.